Well, let's start with the obvious question it's the first question that you always ask a drummer, but how did you start playing the drums?
I started playing the drums. I was in 7th grade, and my friend had gotten a drum set at his house, and he started playing. I took a real interest into it, and I'm like, man, I want to learn how to play. So he started teaching me how to play, and I came to him one day and said, all right, Kyle, what do you have to teach next? And he looked at me, he's like, it kind of learned me out. I don't really have anything else. So we were sitting there, and then after that, I just started with YouTube, watching YouTube videos, or watching Casey Cooper, and Travis Barker, and Chad Smith, and just studying those videos over and over and over again. And from there, I asked my parents. I said, "Mom," asked them for a drum set and drum lessons for Christmas. A couple months before Christmas, they got me my first drum set, and then they got me drum lessons for Christmas, and I took drum lessons for a year, and then I got really, really interested in it and started picking up on it, and I said, I want to be in a band. And so my drum teacher was like, well, if I see anything, look out for you. And then he found me a band, and I auditioned, and I made it. And then after that, I started going to drum clinics. My first drum clinic was Jim Riley, the drummer from Rascal Flatts. And he pulled me up to play during the middle of the clinic, and he's like, man, you're a great little drummer. I want to do a private lesson with you the next time I come to Connecticut. And then Rich Redmond came into the clinic, and I set up his drum set because there was nobody there to set it up. And he came in, he's like, this is amazing. And who set this up? And I raised my hand. He's like, this is awesome. You set it up perfect. What's your name? I said, that is Sarah. He's like, wait a minute. I've seen videos of you on the internet. And I'm like thinking about it because I didn't have Facebook or anything yet. And he said, I want you to come out to my drummers weekend in Nashville. And I begged my parents, and they said we could do it. And we went out there, and it's just taken off ever since.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit and try to get a little deeper. Whenever you started to take those drum lessons, could you give us some details about the type of teacher you had, the things that he had you practicing, any kinds of books you were using, or anything like that?
When I first started lessons, I started taking with a teacher. His name is Charlie Dye, and I'm still with him to this day. And to first start off lessons, I have to think about this. I think he made his own worksheets, and he pulled stuff from books, and he made a lesson for each week. But I was really into learning songs, so we learned a lot of songs, and I tried learning to read sheet music for a little bit, and then I don't know. It was weird because when I started to learn how to play, I was more about learning songs. So the main focus was learning songs, and then we did some rudiment stuff. He didn't really work out of a book. He really made his own lesson plan.
What? Tell us a little bit about that first drum set that you got.
The first drum set that I got, my dad went to look at a job, and he's like, all right, whatever's under this tarp, you got to move it. And when the guy ever took the tarp off, my dad's like, oh my gosh, are you looking to get rid of it? He's like, well, I haven't really used it in a while. He's like, I'd get rid of it. And my dad took it from the job. He bought it and came home and surprised me with it. That was the best day. I probably spent 3 hours on that drum set. I was so excited.
What kind of brand was it?
I think it was called a Verve Percussion.
Okay.
It was a beginner drum set, but the guy, my dad's like, man, this is great. Are you looking to sell it? He's like, well, I've only used it twice, so I'll sell it to you. And my dad bought it for me and brought it home, and it's all she wrote. And then I've just played on it and beat the snot out of it.
So when you got that first drum set, did you just start going and playing along to music in your room, or is that kind of how you started to use it?
Yeah, I started playing along to music and just sitting there and just for like hours. The first week I had it, I probably was on it 3 hours every day, just playing on it, because I was just so excited that I had my own kit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That I could call mine instead of having to go to my friend's house all the time. Even though he lived 5 minutes down the street, it was easier to just be able to walk downstairs. Oh, drum set.
Right, right, gotcha. Did you participate in any school music programs?
I did not participate in any school music programs. When I was younger, I didn't speak till I was 4, so I was delayed and everything. And actually, when I went into school, they tested me, and I got diagnosed with like ADHD, dyslexia, speech and language, and auditory processing. And spent my kindergarten through 3rd grade in public school, and then my parents switched me out to a school called Ben Bryan's Academy, which helped me get me back on track, and and they didn't have a music program. So I didn't have the music program at school because it was basically focusing on getting you back to grade level and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I transferred back over to public school in 7th grade, and it was at middle of 7th grade, because it might have been a little too late to get into music stuff, but like middle of 7th grade, I got into it, drumming, and just took a really deep interest in it. Like, I was getting more serious about it.
Were you playing in any bands? Like you said that you would audition for a band. Can you tell us about some of the early bands that you had played in?
Yes. So what I was saying before, my past story is how I got into drum lessons, and then I said to my drum teacher, I want to be in a band. He was like, all right, I'll look for somebody. And one of his old students, his name is Austin Hills, he is a drummer and a guitar player. So he was switching instruments, and my drum teacher was like, hey, I have this kid, his name's Austin. He used to be a drum student of mine. He just switched back over to guitar, and they're looking to start a band. He says, I'll give them your information, and we'll get started. If you're comfortable with that and your mom and dad are okay with it, I said, yep, I want to do it. So town over for me, I went and I auditioned, and then afterwards I said, looking forward to playing with you guys again. They're like, we're definitely going to play together. You did awesome. And I'm actually still with them. And we're called The Scattered. We're an 80s, top 40, pop, rock, 60s. We're kind of all over the place. That's why we're called The Scattered, because you play so many different types of music, different genres of music. And I still play with them. We've been together for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a blast. We've known each other for a really, really, really long time.
Now you're involved in some other bands as well?
Yes. I'm in an acoustic trio called Aura, which is like an acoustic gig where we play like 80s rock, more of like the classic 80s rock music. And then I've just recently got in a band with Desiree Bassett, and she is the former lead guitarist for the Michael Jackson Circus LA, the Immortal tour that toured the whole world. She was the lead guitarist from Connecticut here, and we started a power trio, and it's her on guitar and vocals, it's me on drums, and then my bass player, Jacob Ott from The Scatters, is the bass player for this band, and those are the 3 projects that I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I also fill in for a lot of bands in Connecticut. I fill in for bands Country Rocks whenever they need me. I fill in for a lot of different bands in Connecticut. I get called in for subbing stuff. Another thing that I like to do on the side from filling in with bands and playing with my bands is whatever it takes. I like to be as involved as I possibly can, getting my hands in, because I just love helping the drumming community out and just getting my hands in whatever I can. So, like, if there's a clinic going on And they're like, oh my gosh, we don't have any savings of those. I'm like, I have them, and I go and I provide them for the day and get to watch it on clinics. And if there's anything, so like Rich Redmond comes to Connecticut and does a lot of clinics. I have basically all of his products he uses, DW, Sabian, Remo, and I provide backline for him in Connecticut, and I love doing that. It's like being a little drum tech.
Right. You're like Johnny Hall.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like a mini Johnny Hall.
So, okay, well, let's talk about Rich. When you talked about, helping Rich out and stuff like that, Rich and me are pretty close. We've written a couple books together. One of the big things that he has been involved with and has been really successful has been his Drummers Weekend, which has just grown exponentially since it first begun. And I know that you've gone to them and you felt a great sense of benefit from that. Could you tell us a little bit about your experiences at the Drummers Weekend and what you got out of it personally?
Oh my gosh, that drum camp! I think the past couple ones that I've been to, those are the best weekends of my life. Because you are immersed in drumming for like 8 hours straight every day. You have like the top drummers from like around the world at the palm of your hand. You can just ask them any questions. Like, they're all yours for 8 hours. You learn so much about percussion and drum set and just everything. That camp has. If it wasn't for that camp and going to that camp, I wouldn't have made the friends that I've made. I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I've had, and I wouldn't have be where I am in my drumming if it wasn't for that camp. That camp, when I went to the first camp, when I was talking about before in a previous question we asked about going to Rich's clinic in Connecticut, when he came to Connecticut, because he's also born in Connecticut, I'm like, man, that's really cool. Who would ever think from Connecticut, and he's playing with Jason Aldean, and he's touring the world and doing. And after that clinic, and he's like, man, I want you to come to my camp. It's amazing. I like begged my parents, and they supported me 150%. And we went for the weekend, and that camp was the drive that was like, I want to do this for a job. That camp opened me up to all of the possibilities. And they open you up and you get to see like what it's like being in the music industry and what it entails. And it's like and you make so much, so much good things to say about this camp. I mean, I have gone several times. So you spend, a little details about that is you spend 8 hours a day for Friday through Sunday, and there's clinics all day. They have clinicians come in and do clinics, and we hang out, and we talk drums, and there's special guests that come in, and they just hang out, and you could just ask them questions all day, but you're like immersed in drumming all day for those 3 days. On the second day of the camp, Rich gives us, each camper, a song, and we have to learn that song overnight. And then the next day, we go play out at Douglas Corner in Nashville in front of a huge crowd. But he basically puts you on the spot of, if you would ever get put in a situation of, hey, we need a drummer for a gig, like tomorrow, like he kind of puts you in that situation of, but it's only one song, but he puts you in the situation of like, if somebody called you and said, hey, we need you tomorrow, you need to learn this song tonight, kind of. And you go and you play, and the final performance is so much fun because you have people come in, and all the Nashville people come in, and it's a really awesome club, and you just have a ton of fun, hang out, everybody gets to play their song, and then we all hang out afterwards, but you make such great friends, and you have such a connection afterwards with everybody, and I still hang out with a lot of the drummers and a lot of the people that did that camp, or who are students or clinicians. I still hang out with a lot of them, which is awesome.
That's great. What was your song?
The first camp that I went to, it was Ooh La La is, it's on my YouTube channel. I forgot. I think it was not Grace Potter. It's Ooh La La. I'd have to look it up again. It's terrible when it comes to stuff like that. But it was called Ooh La La, and I went up there, and it was my first time playing in front of a crowd like that big, and I had a blast. I had so much fun, and I was like, I looked at the crowd of people, and I was like, this is what I want to do for a job. This is so much fun, and it's such like the adrenaline and hits you, and it's so much fun to just be able to play in front of people, and everyone's like, aren't you nervous? I'm like, I'm one of those weird people that's like never ever nervous about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been one to like jump out and be like, okay, I'm ready. What do you want me to do? Like, I'll jump on stage. I'm really not afraid. The second camp that I went to, I did Wipeout, and I got to play with. Another thing about playing these final performances is you play with like a celebrity house band. A lot of these big musicians that play with a lot of these world famous artists, they come in and you get to play with them, which is amazing.
Now you've I've seen the videos. You've been down to Nashville and you sat in at a lot of these places like Tootsie's and places like that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about that when you make these trips down there and how you set up these opportunities to sit in.
Well, I have a buddy. His name is Corbin Cagle, and
I know Corbin. Corbin, yeah, he's all tattooed up.
Yeah, Corbin with the big mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corbin. We were friends on Facebook. We had never met, and then I was walking down Broadway. It was my first time walking down Broadway, and I saw him sitting in the window at Tootsie's. I'm like, that's Corbin. And then we started hanging out and chatting, and then he pulled me up to play, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And then every time I go down to Nashville, if I walk into Tootsie's or wherever Corbin's playing, he's like, come up and play, come up and play, come up and play. And it's really, he is the main reason why I get to play down on Broadway, because he's always been so nice and welcoming, and he's always like, hey, come up and play. Whenever you're down, just let me know what you want to play, and we'll play it. And he was the whole reason why I got to play play at Tootsie's. Think of this, Tootsie's for your first time ever playing on Broadway. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. Well, it sounds like you have played a lot of different types of music. Do you have a preference of a particular genre that you like the most?
I like country. I love 80s rock. I would have to say 80s rock would have to be number one. Country would be number two. I like blues. I like classic rock. Those would have to be. It would have to be 80s rock, classic rock, blues, and then like funk.
Okay, that's cool. And your bands, the bands that you've played with, they play different types of music as well. So that gives you the opportunity to sort of branch out and play different styles.
Yeah, it makes you more versatile. It's good to be able to know different genres and have that in your back pocket, because if you get the call and they're like, hey, we need you for like an R&B pop gig, and your vocabulary is not open to R&B and pop, then you're gonna be turning down a gig that you could have had.
Right.
So it's good to have all those, like, to be able to use all different genres and have them in your pocket. So if you ever get a call, hey, I need you to fill in for this band, they play like 80s rock, or it's a blues band, or whatever it is, you just got to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it and you have to turn it down, that's an opportunity that you missed out on.
Right.
And and I've learned this throughout all the clinics and everything I go to. Never say no to a gig that gets thrown out in front of you. Because if you don't take that gig, that's an opportunity you're missing out on. And if that opportunity could lead to another opportunity, which could have led to another opportunity. So I always think of that in my head. And whenever I get called for a gig, you get that gig, You don't know what's going to come out of it. That's an opportunity that's getting thrown at you, and just don't say no. Keep playing. That's what I tell every drummer that comes up to me. Man, you're doing a lot of great stuff, and how do you do it? Yeah, I'm like, I don't say no to anything that gets thrown in front of me.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's good advice. That's good advice. Now, you recently participated in the Hit Like a Girl contest. I know that was very important to you. Can you tell us a little bit about that contest for the readers and about your experiences in it?
Yes. So I've participated in the Hit Like a Girl contest for 2 years now. Last year I participated in it, and basically this Hit Like a Girl competition, you submit a video. It's one video. It's got to be 3 minutes long, and you submit it, and then it's up to the judges to decide if you go on to the voting period. And then once you make it into the voting period, then it's up to the people to vote for you to get you into the next round, because they only pick the top 10 highest voted people. And then those top 10 voted on people get to move on to the next round in the competition, which is the finals. And then it's up to the judges. But while this is all going on, there's a 6-week submission period where you submit your videos. You have 6 weeks to submit it in. And during that time, there's companies that sponsor each week. And each week, a company picks somebody from the 18 and up category and 18 and under category, and they pick those videos. And those videos that were picked for the 6 weeks, they automatically move to the finals, and they don't have to go through the voting period and everything. So you got your top 10 in the voting period, and you have your 6 videos in both age categories that were picked for the weeks, and then those move on to the finals, and then that's how they determine who wins. And then it's up to the judges, and they have like a really big panel of celebrity judges that come in and analyze the videos. And at the end, you have they have a bunch of like mini achievement awards, and then they have first through fourth, which fourth is popular voted video. Last year I submitted it, and I won a mini achievement award. It was the Joe Hibbs Memorial Scholarship from the Sessions, and I won a scholarship, and I used it. And Rich Redmond did an 8-hour drum intensive in Nashville, and I used my scholarship toward that. And then this year, I placed even higher. I came in fourth place in the world, because it's an international female drumming competition. I placed fourth in the world, and was the most popular video in the whole competition, which I couldn't be any happier. I was more happier to win this fourth place than first place, because that means that my video got out there the most and more people saw it.
And what did you win for that prize?
For that prize, I get a lot of the company. You win an entire drum set, which is awesome. And when you do that, they also promote you a lot. So whenever companies ship you stuff from that, the companies that sponsor the competition, they provide the prizes. So when I received a couple of my prizes so far, I post them on Facebook to thank the companies, because they're really great prizes. And then I get a lot of promotion from those companies and Hit Like a Girl, and whatever I do, if I post a video, a new YouTube video, or a new project that are in, or whatever, Hit Like a Girl shares it over to their stuff. So it's a good promotional. You get good promotion out of it too for yourself, and it gets yourself out there. The competition itself, you get yourself out there, because the people that are looking at your videos, it's crazy. So the judges that they have aren't just little judges. They're a lot of the top female drummers, professional female drummers out there that are looking at your videos, which is also, so even if you submit your video, it's good publicity for you to get yourself out there, win or lose.
Right. Now, your video, you had some Gene Krupa, some sing in there and stuff. Could you tell us a little bit about how you composed your video and your the song that you did with it?
Yes. So as I was last year, I submitted a video, and after that, I thought to myself, I said, "What can I do differently? What can I do differently to make my video better?" I said, "I want to see how many different genres. I want to do a whole bunch of different types of genres." And I got some advice from some people, and I was just like, "How should I put this together and whatnot?" And I was thinking older music or newer music, today's modern music to the older music. And then someone suggested to me, "Why don't you go old to new?" And I'm like, yeah. And then I had to think about it, and I started researching songs, and I went, and after brainstorming and getting all the ideas together, I said, start from old to new, see how many different genres I could get in a song, get in this 3 minutes, because you only get 3 minutes. How many different genres can I do? I started with jazz, worked into Motown, and then I worked into heavy metal stuff, and then I worked into there's a part in the song where I do the Jack and Diane, the fill, the do ga do da ga boom. I went from the fill in Jack and Diane into Phil Collins into the Air of the Night, the tom part, which was really cool. It was a transition between the two songs, which sounded familiar. Like the Phils, they don't sound familiar, but it flows. So it was all about how I can flow one song into another song while also showing off me and the different styles that I know. I thought a little bit out of the box for my video. What can I do differently that nobody else has done?
No, I think you did a great job. I think it turned out really good, and the fact that it was so popular, I think is a testament to how great of a job that you did.
Yes, I am way happier than I was much happier with placing fourth in the world and being the most popular video than taking first place. That means more to me than first.
Now, you had also participated in the world's fastest drummer contest at Summer NAMM.
Yes, I did.
Tell us about that and how that turned out.
So, yet again, there's people from Venezuela and Canada, and there's a company there from Tokyo. There's people from all around the world, all around the U.S. that came to do this. And I placed fourth in the world again. I had 824 single strokes in 60 seconds. So you basically have 60 seconds. They have a special pad, like a practice pad, and it doesn't really have bounce or anything. You literally have 60 seconds to see how many single strokes you can do in 60 seconds. And came fourth in the world in that too. I guess 4 is my number this year. I'll take it.
And you said there was no rebound on the pad.
There's no rebound. Literally, you know when you hit a practice pad and it's got a little bit of bounce to it?
Yeah.
Where the stick can bounce back, there's really no bounce back on this practice pad. You literally have to, it's all you gotta practice. It's a lot of practice and making sure that a lot of the people that did it too, you don't have to be a drummer to do it. Anybody can do it. There was people that went up there that had never done it, that did 700 in 60 seconds, which was crazy. But it's a good, I think it's good. It helps you. It was a different type of competition, but I thought I actually practiced for it because last year I wanted to see if I could beat my score from last year, and I would sit there and practice and practice and practice. And when it came time for this, I didn't wait. Last year I placed fourth too. This year I placed fourth, but I doubled my score, which was awesome.
Huh. Now, with these types of contests that you're involved in, do you intend to make these a yearly event? Are you going to participate in these contests each year?
Yes. I definitely for the World's Fastest Drummer competition, you can do it as many times as you want, but as soon as you, if you place first, then you can't do it anymore. So they have a World's Fastest Hand competition, like how many single strokes you can do in a minute, but they also have the World's Fastest Feet competition and how many times single hits you can with the a double foot pedal on a kick drum. How many times can you do that in 60 seconds? So, if you place first in the World's Fastest Hand, then you can't do that anymore because it's somebody else's turn, and then you can, do fastest feet. So my goal is to try and see if I can beat my score each time I go. I'm happy if I just beat my score for the last time, and I can place just a little bit higher. Hit Like a Girl competition is the same thing. You could do it as many years as you want, but as soon as when you place first place, when you take first place, then you can't do it anymore. Right. So you can do it however many times you want, but as soon as you place first, then you can't do it anymore.
Are there any other contests that you're involved in, or any other things like that?
Not right now. I'm actually still kind of looking. You never know. I've been always searching the internet, seeing whatever competition. I heard about it a little too late, but there's this contest called the Blue Man Group puts it on. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the Blue Man Group puts it on, and it's a competition where you do a solo in front of a crowd, and if you win, the companies provide you with stuff, and you get to do a lot. They promote you, and you get to do a lot of cool things that are involved in it. I'd have to read a little bit more on it, but that's a competition that I'm interested in. They do it right in Boston, and the Blue Man Group puts it on. That's what I like to do for fun. I'm actually participating in, I'm going down to Dallas, Texas, in September 30th for I don't know if you've heard of it, called Breast Cancer Can Stick It.
Yeah, I know, with, the Drumathon people,
April Samuels.
April, yeah.
Last year I participated in that, and I had a blast. I raised over $800, and I went down there, and because I raised the amount of money I did, I got a spot to play a 2-minute solo in front of everybody. And then also while you're down there, they have, they had Sandy Gennaro and Vinny Appice and Keo Stroud and Chip Ryder, and these guys came down, and you got to hang out with them, and they played along to their tracks and did what they did. But it's such a great organization. It helps out with breast cancer awareness and helping with, their program does a lot with breast cancer awareness, and they try to get the help out there to people who need it, who are in need, who have breast cancer, and they donate to a lot of great causes that are involved with the breast cancer awareness. They also, the fundraising throughout the day, you go all day, there's raffles, and you get to hang out with these drummers, but you can also pay to play with them, which is really awesome. So you can pay, and you play a 1-minute little jam session with them. So I got to play side by side with Vinny Appice and Keo, and which is really cool. But I raised $800 and got a spot. I placed in the top, I think it's the top 25 top fundraisers, and went down there and did a solo and got to play, and then hung out all day and helped raise money for a great cause.
Yeah,
so I'll be going.
That's great. No, April does a great thing, man. Every single year, everything April does is great. So it's great.
Absolutely. Funny thing is, I met April through Rich Redmond's camp, the last drummers weekend he did, and I met her, and we talked about the drumathon and breast cancer can stick it, and she gave me a pair of sticks. I said, I want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go down. I want to help fundraise. I want to do, what can I do to help?
Mm-hmm.
That's immediately what I thought is, what can I do to help? And so last year I had an absolute blast. It was my first year going down, and just had a great time participating.
No, that's great. And Keo, I know Keo. He's hilarious.
Oh, Keo, man, he's funny. Funny stories. They came with Big and Rich to do the Travelers Golf Tournament, which is like I work the Travelers Golf Tournament each year. Probably one of the biggest events that comes to Connecticut.
Yeah.
And they have it's called the Power Station Concert Series, and Big and Rich was the headliner. And I had messaged Keo. I said, "Dude, we gotta hang out?" He's like, "Yeah. I told you anytime you were in town, I come hang. Anytime I'm in your town, or if you're down in Nashville, we come hang." He said, "Yeah, let's hang out." We were hanging out, and he introduced me to the band, and then I met Big and Rich at a meet and greet, and we were chatting. I said, "Yeah, I know your drummer Keo, and you have an awesome drummer." He's like, "Oh, great." And then we were talking for a little bit. They're like, "How old are you?" I'm like, 20. So we're in the middle of the show, and I'm jamming out. It was an awesome concert. First time I ever seen them. And halfway through the show, they stopped the whole show. And John comes over, and he's like, "This guy hasn't missed a single beat, a single lyric, nothing." And if I remember correctly, I met you at meet and greet, and you said you were a drummer. And I got to ask you, do you want to come up and play? And me not being nervous, I ripped the fence open, I crawled through, climbed up on stage. I was ready. And when I played, there had to be like 2,000 or 3,000 people there, and I played in front of this crowd. The video is also up on my YouTube channel. And that was amazing. That was the push. That was an absolute phenomenal experience. And to be able to be put in that situation. See, there's where an opportunity comes, like what I was saying before. If an opportunity is put in front of you, and if you're too afraid to do it, or you're just like, "Nah, I don't want to do it," then you miss out. And that opportunity can lead to another opportunity, which could. So I was so excited, and I went up there, and I played, and I had such an adrenaline rush. I had so much fun, and they were just like, Keo was just like, "You crushed it," and we were chatting, and after the show, and that was an amazing day too. But if I hadn't have gone to Rich's camp, met Keo, and then after that, getting to hang out with him and those opportunities, it's all about, in the music industry, having friends, keeping connections, and just getting yourself out there. I mean, that was the most incredible day. If it wasn't for meeting Keo and becoming good friends with them, I wouldn't have done what I did.
No, that's fantastic. That's absolutely great. And
the funny thing about that is Keo, when I came down because for Rich's camp, I literally flew in for the camp, did the camp, and we left the next day. And I really didn't get to see much in Nashville for the first camp that I went to. So I went down to Nashville for the Nashville Drummers Jam in December, and he had said to me, "Whenever you're in Nashville, hit me up." He said, "I'll give you a tour." And I told him I was coming down, and Keo was actually the first person who actually gave me a tour of all of Nashville.
Oh, really?
He brought me to Forks. He brought me everywhere. Keo is the man.
That's great. That's fantastic. Yeah.
That showed me around Nashville for the first time. He showed me all the cool places, and he drove me down Broadway. We went to Forks. We went to where he stores his equipment. We just went everywhere, which was so much fun.
That's great. No, Keo's fantastic, and that's great. You were talking about, making connections. That's what Rich always preached about, making connections.
That's what every drum clinic that I've gone to, they talk about that 10,000 hours of practice, connections, shaking somebody's hand, and just going to places. Going to places, so let me switch that. Going to places and shaking hands with people and meeting people. Always participate in, if there's open mics around, go to those open mics, because you never know, someone could be like, "Hey, I need a drummer for this day," and if you're not there, that's an opportunity that you missed out on.
Right.
So always participate, local music, promote it, play in it, get yourself involved. Always have a business card with you, have it handy in your back pocket, so if ever that situation comes and someone's like, yeah, I'm looking for like a fill-in drummer whenever I need it, and if you have that business card in your back pocket and you hand it to them, they'll have that, and you'll make an impression right there too, that you're serious about it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So connections, going to support local music, open mics, and that business card, and just shaking hands and trying to meet with as many people as you can. Get involved in your music community as much as possible, because that's where your opportunities will come.
Now,
and social media is another one.
And
Social
I was going to say you're active on social media, aren't you?
Yes. Yet again, if it wasn't for Rich's camp, I wouldn't have had social media. I had never, before Rich's Drummers Weekend, that first camp that I ever went to, I didn't have Facebook, Instagram. I didn't have any of that. And they're like, that's like key. That's how you're going to get yourself out there if you want to be playing and doing it, if you have that Facebook page. And another thing they talked about at Rich's camp was like promoting yourself. You got to have like some sort of social media platform so that like you can post videos and show you and like get yourself out there. And so after I left that camp, I made my Facebook page, I made an Instagram page, and just started posting daily and as much as possible and all the experiences that I've had. And from having that, I know that I've gotten a lot of gigs just off of Facebook. So social media, promoting yourself, getting involved in your music community, going to your open mics, business cards, going to as many drum clinics as you can. You just got to get yourself involved in as many aspects in the music in the music industry where you are as possible, because then you can get so many more opportunities and be able to do so much. That's why I've been able to do as much as I've done, because of social media and just going to my open mics. Like a lot of open mics that I've gone to, I go to Rhode Island for an open mic.
Oh, wow.
And because, I went to Rhode Island, there's this place called Katie's Place, and it's a blues open mic, and I played there, and somebody saw me, and then found my Facebook page, and then shared it, and then I got a gig out of that.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about going and playing. Another thing is when I'm down in Nashville, I told you that Corbin got me to play at Tootsie's. Corbin's also, whenever I'm in town, if he's at Rippy's, I'll play, or if he's playing at Tootsie's, I'm playing. But I don't know if you've heard him. His name is Tyson P. Leslie. He's the piano player for Vixen.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays at a place called the Big Bang in Nashville, and it's a dueling piano bar. And we play, and he was playing, and there was a drum set, and he had pulled me up to play, which was awesome. And so every time I go down, if I see them, they always pull me up to play. They're like, come play. It's going to be fun. And Corbin's always like, come up and play. And that's how I've gotten the opportunities. It's all in your connection and knowing people and posting videos of you playing, because then they're like, dude, you're an amazing little drummer. Why don't you come up and play with us? Like,
how do you get so many I'm always seeing you backstage with Steely Dan and people like that. How do you get all those guys, all those passes and stuff?
Well, it's all I get in some of the stuff I've gotten invited to, if I go to an event and they're like, hey, next time I'm in your town, hit me up. We'll hang out for the day. I mean, and then when you hit them up, that's a lot of stuff I've been invited for. Most of it, actually, I'd say all of it, I've been invited to. Whenever I've been hanging out with these guys at drumming events in Nashville or whatever, they're like, hey, anytime I'm in your town, just hit me up on Facebook. And we can hang out for the day. I'll get you in. So it's all in taking those opportunities, because not everybody gets invited to do those opportunities. And I love it because it basically puts you in the eyes of what their job is like. And not if you want to take it seriously and you get invited to something like that and you take that, I've learned a lot by going to those experiences. And who is it? Rich invited me. He came a couple years ago. It was the weekend of my 21st birthday, and he invited me to come play sound check. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, that was yet again another amazing opportunity where I could sit there and I love watching. I'm like a crowd watcher. I like to watch and see all the stuff that goes on back there and what it entails. I mean, because one day that'll be me. And to have that opportunity to be able to sit there and just take in what's going on around me and to see what these guys do on a day-to-day basis, that's an amazing opportunity, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you'll never get.
No, I love it too. I get that too with all the guys that I know. I get to hang out backstage with those guys all the time too, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
It's a totally different experience. When I did the sound check with when Rich invited me to play sound check, that was the best 21st birthday I could ever ask for. I mean, getting to play sound check with the Three Kings, Kurt and Tully and Rich, and being able to play with them, Hicktown. I mean, that was so much fun. I mean, and not everybody gets those opportunities. So when those opportunities, yet again, where I say you get thrown in front of and you get invited to, never turn an opportunity down where you get invited to do something.
Exactly.
Because those opportunities could lead to more.
Exactly.
So I also got to hang out. Shout out to Ray Luzier. He invited me. He came to Rich's camp the last drummers weekend he went to. And he said, yeah, the next time I'm in Connecticut, hit me up. We'll hang out. And I hit him up, and we got to hang out, and he introduced me to his drum tech Catfish, and we got to hang out, and he showed me his kit and all of his whole setup, and we got to watch Stone Sour from Side Stage. I got to watch Rory Mayorga, which was awesome, and Jen Ledger when she played with Skillet, which is really cool.
Yeah, Jen's cool.
He let me watch the show from Side Stage, which was amazing, and he, halfway through the show, he sent Catfish, his drum tech, to come get me, and I got to watch some of the show from behind, and there was this one song he did. It was called Coming Undone, and it's one of my favorite Korn songs other than Freak on a Leash. And I got to videotape him playing it from behind and ended up doing a drum cover video of it.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, just going to these concerts and getting these opportunities, whenever I go to a concert, I don't know if it's just you or if it's just me or you or any drummer out there, but whenever I go to a concert, I always lock eyes on a drummer. I love watching drummers.
Yeah, I don't care about anybody else. Well, it depends who I go and see. Usually it's the drummer or the singer. I could give a rat's ass about the rest of the band. So,
whenever I go, jumping back to the Rich Redmond one, he introduced, when I went to his camp, all these connections that I've made have pretty much been through Rich's camp. Because he invites all these people to come and do clinicians or to come hang out, and they just come and they mingle, and they're just drummers. We have such a great community of drummers because they're so warm and welcoming and inviting. And hey, anytime you want to hang out, let's hang out. If you want to chat or have any questions, just hit me up. I love it.
Oh yeah,
it's a great community. But being able to play sound check with Rich and the Three Kings, it was just an opportunity. It was amazing, and just to be able to meet Kurt and Tully and the Three Kings that he's always talked about, that he talked about at his camp, and to be able to meet the Three Kings and it was cool. I also played with the Three Kings at Rich's camp the first year that I went, and then got to play with them when they came to Connecticut that weekend. It was so much fun. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Rich and for all he does, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. Rich has helped me out so much, and his camps have just helped me out so much, and I've learned a load of information from these camps that you can't get from anywhere else. Nowhere else.
Yeah, they're definitely special. I love doing all the promotional material for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every year they get better and better. Now,
Oh, yeah, they do.
in addition to your drumming, you're also an associate instructor at the Academy of Martial Arts.
I actually just got promoted to full-time instructor. I was an associate instructor is kind of like a full-time instructor, only because of your age. So when they promoted me, I wasn't like of the age to be like a full instructor with the black pants. And I'd say almost a month ago, I got promoted to full-time instructor and got my black pants, which was super excited. That's another one of my goals that I've really pushed for and looked for, and I've always wanted to do. Ever since I started martial arts, I hit a rank. I think it was brown belt or a red belt, and I was just like, I want to teach. This is fun. So then I started in their staff program, and I worked my way up. And I said, I want to become an instructor. I saw those black pants. I'm like, I want the black pants, and I want to become an instructor. Because I've always been one to do stuff like that. I like teaching people stuff, and that's one thing I've been doing martial arts. It'll be 13 years on August 8th. I've been doing martial arts. I do Dehamido. It's a mix between Hapkido, Aikido, and Taekwondo.
I'm sorry, that didn't come through. Could you say that again? The phone kind of went out. The different disciplines?
I do Dehamido. It's a mix of like Hapkido, Aikido, and Taekwondo. A little mix of everything. But I've been doing it for almost 13 years, and I love it. It was I use drumming and martial arts as kind of like an outlet, and I loved it. And I'm a third-degree black belt in Dehamido, and working for that fourth degree, and yeah.
Wow, so that's a really important part of your life as well.
Yeah, drumming and martial arts, those two. I have a necklace that I wear whenever I go out, and it's a little martial arts girl kicking, and I have a pair of custom drumsticks, and then my name in the middle, because those are the two most important things. And I'm actually looking for the two of my favorite things that I love to do. I'm actually looking for another charm to go with it that represents family. So drumming, martial arts, and family.
Cool. Now, where do you see your drumming taking you to?
I want to become a professional touring drummer. I want to be just like the Rich Redmond and the Jim Riley and the Sean Fuller and Keo. I want to be like those guys. I mean, it's just I just love playing music. I want to play it 24/7. I just can't get enough of it. I mean, that, and I also would love to do some session work too. And my ultimate goal is to move down to Nashville and pursue my career and keep on playing. I mean, right now, I do a lot of stuff up here in Connecticut. I go down to Nashville a lot, and I go and participate in a lot of drum camps and all these different fundraisers and whatever shows go on around the U.S. And I just really want to make it a career. Ever since going to Rich's camp and just seeing the opportunity, I just love playing. That's period end of discussion. I just love playing 24/7.
What is your?
If I could do it for a job, that'd be amazing.
What is your practice regimen that you do now?
My practice regimen is, my goal is to get 3 hours of practice a day. I know it's a lot, 3 hours a day. But if I can get an hour in, that's fine. And each time I practice, if I practice once in the morning, I try to in the middle of the day, and then in the afternoon, at night when I get home from whatever I do. So I try to squeeze it in throughout the day, And each hour I try to work on something different. So, like, if I go to drum lessons, if I take drum lessons with a couple of different people, if they give me something to work on, I'll spend an hour working on whatever stuff they gave me. Then I'll spend, like, the hour in the middle of the day just jamming out the songs. And then, like, I could spend an hour at night just rudiments, practicing, like, my rudiments and different types of, like, practice pad stuff, because just trying to get in different aspects of drumming within those 3 hours every day and trying to work on something different. So it's like I try to create little mini lesson plans for each hour.